What is going on, everybody? It is the Wednesday edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show here at FTNFantasy.com. My name is Zach Graham, aka Kawaisenberg DFS, ready to jump into tonight's single game slate of NBA playoff action. The league trying to even up the number of games here between the Knicks series and the Nuggets series. So just game 2 out east here tonight, but excited to get into it. And again, as a reminder, as you come in, if you're watching it live or on the replay, hit that like button. You can subscribe to the channel. See the GOAT, Alex Blickle in here saying, go Phillies. There you go. MLB props from Alex Blickle. Some of those already dropped into the Pick'em Games channel of the FTN Fantasy Discord. Again, just one game here tonight. And before we jump into the tool, just want to remind you guys, of course, if you haven't signed up yet at PrizePicks, I don't know what you're waiting for, but if you have not signed up, you can do so using the promo code FTN. That'll get you a 100% deposit match bonus up to $100 over there with PrizePicks. And of course, you can build similar, if not the exact same plays that we talk about here at PrizePicks over at Underdog Fantasy. So if you haven't signed up yet with Underdog, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen right now. That same promo code gets you that same deposit match bonus, 100% up to $100. And I did just get the notification from UD on the old cellular device here. Looks like 4 discounted props up on the board over at Underdog. So you can take your pick there. And again, sign up with Underdog. Take advantage of that deposit match bonus. And also download the Sleeper app. Because if you haven't downloaded Sleeper yet, that same promo code gets you a deposit match bonus up to $500 at Sleeper. So like I say always, take advantage of these offers. Get that free money. Build your bankroll. And then head over to FTN Fantasy. Because right now, VIP Plus subscription, that is a full year access to everything we have under the FTN umbrella here. All of our projections, our analytics, advanced tools, the models, access to all of the Discord channels, all of that included for just under $25 a month, $299.99 for the full year VIP Plus subscription here at FTN Fantasy. Now let's talk about, I know you guys are all here for the picks, so let's get into it. And again, just the one game tonight, so there wasn't a ton on the board this morning. But there are 2 props specifically that I've been looking at and have put into some entries over the last hour. First, let's look at Jalen Brunson's turnover prop, set at 3.5 this morning on PrizePicks. Now, Jalen Brunson averaged 2.4 turnovers per game this season. Obviously, the minutes up here in the playoffs, and that average is up to 3 turnovers per game, 3 flat, through his 7 playoff appearances this season. Alternated with a more than and a less than result on this 3.5 number through every game of the playoffs. So he's got 4 where he's gone over and just 3 where he's gone less than this number. But Jalen Brunson has played 28 postseason games in his career where he got 35 minutes or more. And he's been under this 3.5 turnover number in 22 of them. Now, like, that's not just the cut and dry stat that we should use to take a less than selection on this prop, because Brunson's never had a role like this, right? Of course, in his days in Dallas, less time for him to get out there on the floor, less usage for sure. And then even in New York last year, right? Not taking on this same type of role. His usage rate for his career in the playoffs, sub 30%. Actually, his highest usage rate for a playoff run in general was last season with this Knicks team, but it was 28.4%. This season, through the 7 games that we've seen already, 36.9. So again, it's not as simple. It's not as cut and dry as just, oh, look, he's been under this in so many games in his career, because it's a different situation, to be sure. But when you take a look at the FTN data model, this backs it up in a big way. 2.52 is the projection for turnovers here in the FTN model this morning. So I'm going to lock that in as our first pick of the day, a less than selection on Jalen Brunson, 3.5 turnovers. And we see Alex in here again. UD gave us a hell of a strikeout multiplier on Hicks this morning. And yes, they did, especially if you look at where Hicks is at on PrizePicks right now. So again, if you were in that Pick'em Games channel of the FTN Fantasy Discord, you got that play more than 2 hours ago and were able to take advantage of that. So again, I know Alex has some more plays that he's going to drop into that channel here before the MLB slate gets started for the day. So Brunson, our first pick here on the NBA side. Let's flip to the other side of this game and take a peek at Miles Turner. And Turner, his blocks prop specifically is set at 1.5 here this morning. His blocks are down this postseason compared to his historical career numbers in the playoffs. Just 1.1 blocks per game in his 7 playoff appearances here in 2024. He came into this postseason with a career playoff average in blocks slightly over 2 per game. And part of the reason for that downturn, in my eyes, was being pulled away from the rim in that first round series against the Bucks, more often than not, guarding a guy like Brook Lopez. Turner also only picked up a single block in game 1 of this series. But again, leaning a little bit more on the FTN data model, which has Turner projected for slightly over 2.25 blocks here in game 2 tonight. So I like that as our second pick here. And you can see that the PrizePicks tool here at FTN Fantasy, we like to look at that correlation bonus row when we can. Looks like it's still working a little bit here. Just gave it to us. Just a plus 0.1% correlation bonus, but we like to see that positive number, no matter how small, rather than a negative number here. So those are our first 2 picks here today. Brunson, less than 3.5 turnovers. Miles Turner, more than 1.5 blocks. And as we continue and close out the stream here, just want to remind you, if you are watching live, jump into that YouTube chat if you've got any props that you've got your eyes on, any questions, comments you may have. That's what I'm here for. And then again, if you're catching this on the replay, jump into that Pick'em Games channel here at FTN Fantasy in the Discord. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at KawhiSenbergDFS. But I'm much more likely to see those questions from our subscribers here throughout the day in the Discord. And if you've tuned into this stream before, when I've been sitting right here, you know that I love that fantasy scoreboard over at PrizePicks. And we're in luck. That board populated about 10 minutes ago. So let's just go through some of these options together. And on Monday, the 2 fantasy score props that we took on the stream were a less than selection on Josh Hart's fantasy score prop of 40.5. And we took the more than selection on Dante DiVincenzo, more than 27.5 fantasy score for DiVincenzo, trying to get a little bit of correlation there. Again, we don't have that fantasy score prop integrated into the tool quite yet, so we don't know what the tool has to say about that in terms of a potential correlation bonus. And obviously, Josh Hart, the less than selection, did not come through for us in game 1. But my friends, I'm going right back to this combination again. Josh Hart today set at 42.5 fantasy score. Looks like they already brought it down to 42. So there's some others eyeing the less than selection on this prop here. And to be honest with you, I'm going to take a second here. I'm going to use a prop that our good buddy Alex Blickel is going to put into the chat. I'll go ahead and give that out here. I just want to get this entry in for myself. Christian Encarnacion Strand from the MLB side, the more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's a demon that gets you up to a 38x payout on a 6-pick play. Going to put that into the entry here. We're going to end up with 5 picks, but just wanted to make sure I didn't lose any extra value on that Josh Hart prop, which again is now at 42 fantasy score. And look, Josh Hart is still going to play huge minutes here, right? That I think is not really up for debate, barring foul trouble or injury. But I still think, again, we're getting an extra 1.5 off of what we took the less than selection on here on Monday. And even though we don't have those projections integrated into the PrizePicks fantasy or the PrizePicks pick'em tool here, we do, of course, have projections available for PrizePicks Fantasy Score for all of our subscribers here. And I can tell you that Josh Hart's PrizePicks Fantasy Score projection is 39.4 here at FTN Fantasy this morning. So we're still getting a little bit of buffer there in terms of where his projection is at here compared to the board at PrizePicks. And I can also say the FTN model doesn't quite like the Dante DiVincenzo more than prop as much as it likes the less than on Josh Hart here. I still like the more than on Dante DiVincenzo. We should see similar big minutes from Dante again here tonight. And again, the up pace matchup against the Pacers. I still think the 30.5 fantasy score is, for me, a point or two too low here. So I'm going to go back to that combo and try to get some correlation there with Hart coming in slightly under that 42 number and Dante doing it for us again, I believe, right around 34.5 fantasy score, if I recall correctly, in that first game. Now the second, or third rather, that's counting, that's good math. The third prop on the fantasy scoreboard that I have my eye on right now is TJ McConnell. And of course, TJ's minutes can be a little volatile, especially depending on how big Tibbs is going to go on the other side. Mitch Robinson out again tonight, so maybe we see them go a little bit smaller, maybe some more Miles McBride minutes. Certainly expect Precious Achiuwa to break into this rotation here in game 2. But TJ McConnell, not going to DNP, certainly, and I do think this series lines up a little bit better for him compared to the last series. Now, he did benefit from some foul trouble to a number of Pacers starters in that first game. But still, even at where we have him projected here tonight, this looks like a pretty strong more than selection. He's set at 20.5 fantasy score here this morning. FTN model has him over 22 fantasy score. So again, with just one game, and I think pretty dialed in some of these sites, there's not a ton to talk about here this morning. I'm definitely looking forward to Thursday and Friday and kind of the rest of the second round until one of these series drops out where we will get 2 games per day, because it's always nice to have more options on the board, no matter what site we're looking at. So those are my 5 picks here this morning. Remembering back to our first 2, Jalen Brunson, less than 3.5 turnovers, Miles Turner, more than 1.5 blocks here tonight. And then from the fantasy score side of things at PrizePicks, we're taking less than 42 fantasy score on Josh Hart, more than 30.5 for Dante DiVincenzo, and then more than 20.5 on TJ McConnell. And then I put the Christian Encarnacion Strand, more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's a demon pick here on PrizePicks. That gets you up to a 38x potential payout if and when we go 6 for 6 here tonight. So that'll do it here for the Wednesday edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show. Again, use that promo code FTN to sign up at PrizePicks, sign up at Underdog, sign up at Sleeper if you haven't. And if you haven't joined us here yet at FTN Fantasy, there's no better time to do so. Sign up, VIP Plus subscription, that full year, slightly less than $25 per month, access to everything we have here at FTN Fantasy. And of course, if you have anything else throughout the rest of the day, tag me in that Pick'em Games channel. You can tag me on Twitter at Kawaisenberg DFS. We just got the notification in that Pick'em Games channel. Alex Blickel dropping a bunch of 6-pick plays as soon as this live stream shuts down. So we'll do that now. I will be back on Friday. Alex will be here tomorrow talking some more MLB, maybe even some NBA as well from Alex tomorrow on the Thursday edition. So I will see you all on Friday. And as always, good luck tonight, everybody.